Alright, boys and girls, today we have a couple of interesting topics to go through, like the upcoming new 2-star legendary gem. We're gonna try and break it down, and right after that, we will go and check out Indez making gem replacement suggestions, and towards the end, we're gonna try and find the real value of the PvP Strife. And if you don't know what Strife is, you're gonna find that out as well, and there will be timestamps for everything. But anyhow, moving on to the first topic, it is the upcoming new 2-star legendary gem, rank 10 value, Crimson Behelit, while above 50% health, dealing damage, grant you Behelit Rat, increasing your damage done by 30% for 6 seconds. Cannot occur more often than 20 seconds. You will be able to increase the duration from 6 seconds to 11 seconds by having more beneficial duration. You will be able to get more beneficial duration from Virtus, Runes, Reforge, and in PvE, like I said, you can get this up to 10 or 11 seconds, and this can only trigger every like 20 seconds. So there is going to be about 10 second downtime for this gem bonus. And then when taking damage below 50% health, you gain Behelit Mercy, reducing the damage you take by 30% for 6 seconds. Cannot occur more often than once every 60 seconds. Again, you will be able to increase the duration of this buff as well from 6 seconds to 10 or 11 seconds in PvE. And this can only trigger every 60 seconds. That is pretty long. And then the good stuff comes in my opinion, when a Behelit power trigger, it releases a scream of terror at the enemy's location, fearing nearby enemies for 1.6 seconds. And this is going to be a debuff. So depending on how much potency you have, and if you're using a feasting Baron, you will be able to extend this duration on plays in a PvP. And it is going to be somewhat pretty solid. And I do have some more information about how the fear effect is gonna work. The fear effect has a 1.5 yard radius, and it is centered on the enemy who triggers it. If someone damages you, it is gonna target that enemy, and it has a 1.5 yard radius, so it has a small AoE radius as well. So if someone will be standing closer to that enemy, they will get feared as well. And then if you hit an enemy and that enemy gives you the buff, like they hit you and reduce your HP below 50%, the fear effect happens at that enemy location. So it is somewhat defensive mechanic for you, and it is very good. If you are attacked and the buff triggers, the fear happens where that attacker is. This is talking about the range. So the fear always goes off where the triggering enemy is, whether they are close or afar. For example, I'm a wizard, I throw my Arcane Wind, damage someone, run away, it is still gonna fear me. Even if I will stay quite a lot at distance, it is still gonna come and chase me and fear me. So honestly, the gem is looking really strong. You can say even OP, and it will not be wrong. And we have reached the point in game now where content creators have to make a gem replacement suggestions, because we don't have sockets anymore and we have too many gems. So we're gonna go take a look at some of the suggestions that Indez made in the video, because now we're getting really exciting gems, but we don't really have these sockets anymore. So let me quickly change the screen. There we go. So first off, I saw this and I was like, dang it, we have reached to the point in game where content creators have to even suggest replacing gems like Bloodsoaked Jade and Bottled Hope, and of course not the higher rank one, but the lower rank one. For example, if you have a rank 2, rank 3 Bottled Hope and Bloodsoaked Jade, it is going to be much easier for you to build up the upcoming Crimson Behelit and get a lot more out of that. But that's only gonna be good for small plays and small spenders. The reason for that is let's go take a look at the gem that I have. Let's say I have a rank 6 Colossus Engine. This is the lowest ranked gem currently I have, so I don't have a lower than this gem to compare a 2-star gem versus. So currently I have a Colossus Engine at rank 6, and it is giving me 580 resonance, and that is a lot more than what a 3-star legendary gem gives me. And on the top of that, I have awakened some of the talents within as well and getting another 40 points of resonance, and it gives me about 29% base attributes increase. Let's remove this and put on a 2-star gem. This is just for resonance reference. It is right now giving me 340 resonance. The gem itself is actually only giving me 300, but I have a lot of gems within. This gem had quite high rank, and that's why I am getting 340 resonance. And even with that, I only get 17% base attributes increase. So for someone like me who already have 5-star legendary gems at rank 6 or above, even though these gems are super exciting, we just don't have the sockets anymore. So I somewhat envy smaller players right now, and free-to-play low spenders or new players coming to the game. They're gonna have the best time. Some of us older players already built up some of the older gems to higher ranks, and it's just not gonna be all that big of a power creep for us, and it is going to be a bit too much of an investment. But yeah, the point of this was that we have reached a point in game where even Bottle Hope and Blood Soak Jade is getting recommended to be replaced with a new powerful gem, and we just lack sockets. So that's just a point. But if we go and check out the good replacement here, he ended up making some good replacement suggestions, like you can now change Berserker Eye, Entropic Will, Monskull, Pain Clasp to the new gem. I think Pain Clasp is still going to be pretty powerful because a lot of classes have these skills or abilities that can allow you to keep the Pain class buff up at all times. But if you are lacking that, then of course then you can go and change the Pain class. But Mother Lament, if you have Rolling Consequence, then you can go change Mother Lament. Bottle Hope, again, low ranking. Closest Engine, low ranking. I agree with that 100%. If you have those gems at low rank, it is going to be 100% accurate. But Fervent Fang, I don't think was an accurate suggestion here, because I don't think you will actually gain more damage. You might actually end up losing damage, and I'm going to try and explain that. There's going to be a white bright beam coming up. My apologies for that. So if we replace the screen, and I'm going to use my awesome paint skills. So Crimson Ballet, this is how it actually works. Let's say you are on the cooldown, 10-second cooldown, and you have 10-second uptime. You instantly get that 30% damage, and this is the damage phase, 10 seconds, and then it goes back to 0 and cooldown period, and after 10 seconds it goes back up for 10 seconds, and this is how the Crimson Ballet is gonna work. 30% damage increase. My awesome paint skill. So this is how the Crimson Ballet is gonna work. And now if we go take a look at the Fervent Fang, is gonna take some time to ramp up. You need to stack it 10 times, so it will be like this. And let's say it gets to 24% damage, and after that it just stays there at 24% until the enemy is dead. There we go, 24%. So you most likely gonna get more sustained damage out of Fervent Fang versus harder bosses in PvE, and some classes can ramp that 10 stack really fast even in PvP, so it is still gonna be a decent gem. And in PvE versus raid bosses and elites and dungeon bosses, you get another 6% damage So it is still gonna be like, let's say, if you're fighting elites, it's gonna be like, let me choose another color. So if you're fighting versus elite, it is gonna be 30% damage versus them. And so you see this gem is gonna be more powerful than Crimson Ballad in PvE, fighting the bosses in dungeons, elites, and stuff like that. And sustained damage might take some time to ramp it up, but you will get more sustained damage. So other than that, a fantastic suggestion by Indez. If you want to watch the full video, the link is going to be in the description. And we're going to leave a like here, subscribe, hit the like button, smash that like button. And now we're going to go and dive into the next topic. And now we're gonna try and find the real value of PvP Strife. If you are new to the game and don't know what that Strife is, I will try and explain that real quick. Once you go in PvP Battleground, there is a debuff on your character called Strife. Your life, damage, legendary gem, magic attributes, reforged family bonuses, and other percentage base effects are reduced in power. A lot of people believe that Strife debuff is 66%, but I am here to prove that is incorrect. So if I change the screen real quick, there we go. Right now, my base critical hit chance is 3.3%, and I'm equipped with rank 8 rolling consequence that gives me 36% critical hit chance. If we strive the 36% critical hit chance of rolling consequence by 66%, we are still going to end up with 12.24% critical hit chance boost. And if we go back to our base critical hit chance, that is going to be 3.3%, and plus that with the strike value of the rolling consequence, that is 12.24%, we will end up with 15.54% critical hit chance still. So if we go back in game right now, again, my base critical hit chance is 3.3%, rank 8 rolling consequence, and let's go. Let's see the amount of critical hit chance we get. And again, it is going to be incorrect. The 66% isn't the strike value. So if we go back and hit them and check the critical hit chance, you will see that we have 14.1% critical hit chance, and not like what we got after the math of 66%. It told us that we would end up with 15.54% critical hit chance, and that result was incorrect. We end up getting a 14.1% critical hit chance. And now we're gonna dive into the correct value of the Strife. So we go back to critical hit chance, our base critical hit chance being 3.3% right now, and the rolling consequence rank 8 giving me 36% critical hit chance. We're gonna strive 36% critical hit chance of rolling consequence by 70%, and we still end up with the boost of 10.8% critical hit chance. Now we go to the base critical hit chance of 3.3% plus 10.8% critical hit chance of rolling consequence, and it tells us that we will end up with 14.1% critical hit chance, and this is going to be the correct number. So if we go back in game, keep this in mind. 14.1% critical hit chance we're going to end up with, and our base value right now is again 3.3%. So if I go hit the enemy right there, it is coming my way. Come on boys, get here. There we go, it is activated, and we end up with 14.1% critical hit chance. And again, the real value of the Strife is 70% and not 66%. Hopefully this was informative for new players and a lot of players out there who thought the 66 is the value of the Strife. That is incorrect. The real value is 70%. Now I'm signing off. See you all in the next one. You guys have a great day later.